Welcome to Chapter 2, Lesson 7, Finding Percent of a Number. To find a percent of the number, you can use fractions or decimals in order to do that. So you can take your percent and change it to a fraction or change it to a decimal and then multiply times the number that you're finding the percent of, because we know that that word of means to multiply. Let's look at example 1. Refer to the circle graph. Suppose there are 300 students at York Middle School. Find the number of students that have cheese as a snack. So I can do this two different ways. So looking at my circle graph here, it gives me all the percentages for the different snacks. So 15% of the students have cheese. That doesn't mean that that's 15 students, it means 15% of the students. That word of means to multiply, and I know that the amount of students there are 300 because that's what the problem tells me. So I want to find what's 15% of 300, or 15% times 300. So, but you can't just multiply a percent times a whole number like that. In order to do it, you'd have to change your percent to a fraction or to a decimal. So if you look here at method 1, this is showing you how you can change it to a fraction. So all percents are compared to 100, so they wrote 15 over 100, and then simplified to 3/20ths. So then you would find 3/20ths of 300. So you can do 3/20ths times 300 over 1. Okay, you can cross simplify if possible, and here 20 can be divided by 20 once, and 300 can be divided by 20 15 times. And then if you multiply straight across, you have 3 times 15, which is 45, and 1 times 1, which is 1, and 45 over 1 is just 45. So that means that 45 of the students had cheese as a snack. Now, if you prefer not to work with fractions, if you don't really like fractions that much, you can also use decimals in order to solve this. So you can take 15% and you can turn it into a decimal by getting rid of your percent sign and moving your decimal point 2 places to the left. So it becomes 0.15. And then you're still finding 15% of 300. Of means to multiply. So you have to do 0.15 times your 300. Okay, and when you do that multiplication, you can just go through and do it. And remember, at the end, you have to count how many decimal places there are in your factors. And so there's 2 here, 0 here, so your product will have 2, okay, which will end up being, it would have looked like this as your product, okay, and it'll be 45. So either way, you'll get that 45 students have cheese as a snack. Try the Got It problem below to check your understanding.